Alrighty, it's 7 o'clock somewhere. Where I am. That's where it's 7 o'clock, chat. Haha. I'm going to fire the live alert on Discord. I am inside the fail zone. It's been a little while. We've had pretty good scheduling, but, you know, as the world turns and whatnot. We're a little alone for a second, chat, so we're going to percolate for a hot tick. To get out there. Man. Sorry, a little bit of a hem today. But hello, welcome to Portrayal. Portray. No, we don't want to turn that on now. We'll switch the scene and chill on this. We'll chill on at least the main visual. You don't need to watch the standby screen. But yes, we're back. And, by we, I mean you and me, chat. But we continue to, you know, have the what would you say, the funny, interesting business, because the OCG announced a whole shitload of more overframes. Like, I thought, you know, maybe one or two more, but they were like, nah. Here's a whole new wave. Hey, X. Yeah, no, they did a whole new wave of overframes for both sets. It's okay. I did schedule it kind of fast.
No, it's not. I just interrupt.
But yeah, they did a whole another wave of overframes, as in brand new cards that have overframe rarities in both sets, and it's interesting. I wasn't expecting it, but they're going ham, and people are already predicting, because of things you're going to see in this collection, that there will have to be at least one more wave. Because, well, there's this thing we're doing with 4 Heavenly Dragons, and there's only 3 of them.
No.
So does that mean there has to be another wave of previews? We don't know. But it's a really interesting case where I know we looked at all of these before, and Dallas and I were there throughout the full breadth of it. You know, Axe has to go for his scheduling things after a little bit in. Loth comes in usually a little bit later, depending on what he's doing in his day. So Dallas and I think, were there for basically the whole time of the overframes, and he and I both pointed out that some of these cards are cool, generic cards, but not necessarily going to do anything for their own archetype. For instance, the hero one they did, you know, the Shining Wingman retrain. That doesn't really do anything that hero can't already do, because they have... Oh my god. I'm like, can I say they literally have 100 fusion cards? I don't know if that's true, but they have a lot of fusion cards. They might have 3 digits. I genuinely don't fucking know. There's like over 10,000 cards in this game. 100 of them could be hero fusions. So, you know, the new fusion doesn't do anything for that, but it's a great super poly target for everybody else. So it's interesting to see that they're getting a second wave of this, and several of these are probably going to be good. So, you know, very interesting to see what they've got going on in that space. Other than that... Hold on a second. Sorry, I wanted to very explosively clear my throat for a second. We should be good now. I'm coming off being sick. I feel mostly normal today. Maybe still a little tired, but, you know, we got things to work through. But, yes. Nothing else really going on. A decent number of people are poised for the ban list. I believe there should be a TCG list sometime soon. But exactly when is kind of...
Yeah. Sorry, stepping away. I had to double check a thing.
Yes.
But
it's okay. I was mostly coughing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know exactly like what the time frame is, but this is usual time for a ban list. That, and we've got a new set coming, and a lot of people seem pretty confident that the meta won't actually change unless the ban list removes some decks with the next set. Is that Burst Protocol? I think it's Bopro. So that's kind of an interesting space to be in, where it's like, these cards are okay, but they're not going to actually change the top decks unless some stuff moves around.
See where it goes.
So yeah, we'll keep track of that. Master Duel is doing their January festivals. Currently, it's the Legend Anthology Festival, which since they released Metal Morph is great for me. Love an excuse to play Metal Morph.
Oh yeah,
Chat, did you know if you play Blue Eyes, they refuse to use less than 16 activations. They will die.
I will say, just as a side note, just because I think it might work out more, also just because of the sake of timing, if we move stuff to Mondays, it just makes it easier for my schedule. But that's...
Yeah. We can. I had not brought that up yet, but yeah, we can mention that. We'll probably work on it later in the period because we're still in the early phases of some stuff. But
yeah,
as you know, Fail Portrayal mostly started as a funny thing we did on our prog scheduling day, which I'm pretty sure was originally Wednesday when we recorded it, and then moved to Tuesday to make it fit in better with some people's schedules. So it's always been kind of a flex. And if we want to do some other stuff, including some tabletop gaming stuff, which is vaguely Yu-Gi-Oh related, we've done some tabletop games on Fail Portrayal.
I mean,
swapping it to Monday.
Card games, yeah. It's because it's like I'm gonna say a thing because I'm only gonna get a beer for like another 30 minutes tops.
Go for it.
Unfortunately, this is just because it is now.
Yeah.
That's not gonna stop happening unless someone in my group dies. That's just a fact.
Yes, that was I phrased that earlier when we were discussing this as like oh well, your schedule on Tuesday will clear up sometime, and you're like, no, actually we'll be doing pre-writtens until the end of time, and I was like, oh, it's one of those. Okay,
we're playing Pathfinder. There's a lot of good ones.
Yeah, no. Once we contextualized that, I was like, oh, okay, so no, this will not end. You're right.
We're playing on Foundry, the thing that really was built to run Pathfinder seamlessly. Pathfinder Second Edition seamlessly.
That's so yes, you will. The only thing that will stop it is if the world ends, basically.
I bought my GM literally like 100,000 for like $40. I bought him 100,000 like tokens and art assets to use and shit. So like he said,
that was a pretty good token ratio.
That was a birthday gift.
We may reallocate time from Fail Portrayal from a Tuesday.
Wednesdays for when we do rating, but it's also for when we actually do like the 14 RPG, or when did you premiere the 3 review videos, all the FFNC, the tabletop books, plus that side series about all the class jobs, and like which have at least do have PDF graphics for each one, I think, that are at least public.
Yeah, I think
breakdowns have like level breakdown.
There, yes,
that's the only thing that's PDF values of the actual thing, which is I'm still frustrated about that game. It's like actually,
yes,
like,
I literally
like,
this isn't a
these
sign,
books.
But I literally wrote. I'm still working on writing notes. I've been slower because I've been sick, but I am still working on it. And some chapters go faster than others. But I like scripted one for the chapter which is called "Playing the Game," which is a really good chapter in general because it talks about like the actual realities of scheduling your game. Like, how do you pick a date and time? What's a reasonable time commitment? You should warn people that they might be here for 4 to 5 hours. They need to make sure they've got the time for it and stuff.
So they got to be actually willing to commit. They also got to be. I have this problem with my own game Thursdays. Some people just aren't willing to communicate or commit because they're just out of touch of digital communications after life stuff happened, and they just refuse to readjust.
Yeah, no, and there's definitely like there are similar questions of like everybody should be like aware and plugged in. You know, make sure if you're a player, like it may seem like you don't got a lot to do, but you should make sure you're ready to cover your role playing when you need to roll dice, and also pay attention in encounters because like you can do actions not on your turn, so like you should be engaged and stuff. And has some great GM advice, which I also heartily recommend.
I would love to read it physically. I'd love to really just read it.
But it's got some solid stuff. I will say the short version is the most important rule they say is as the GM have confidence. Like you are game mastering. If you fuck up, just keep going. You're the arbiter of the rules. Run with it. You can ask your players for advice. Feel free to change rules.
It's why I'm thinking long enough. I'm probably not going to run Lancer, but I'll ask you guys if you're willing to like do a favor for a friend of mine who might be doing that.
If you don't here's the thing about GMing that I've learned. You don't need to tell your players when you make mistakes if they don't notice it.
That's actually is one of the advice in the chapter, basically. They say, if you make a mistake, keep going. Don't, like, stop the game and be like, oh, shit, I fucked up. It's like, roll with it. Bring it up. If it fixes it,
at times where it's more... I remember where it's like, oh, I did not think about this scenario. I don't actually have something for this, so let's think this out, actually. I
Well,
more
that's
open
the
about
other piece
it.
of advice they have, which is like, if you are confused, like talk to your players about like, okay, what are we doing here? But what I wanted to say on the point of PDFs though is, unfortunately, the joke I put in the script is what industry plant wrote this section, because it's got a comment about like, oh, playing in person versus online, and it's like, well, if you're playing online, your gameplay is at the mercy of whatever system you allow, which might break your immersion. And I'm like, who the fuck? We don't play virtual tabletops because we love it necessarily. We do it because it's what we got. I can't play physically with my play group. Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, and it's like the
We're like,
thing about
literally none of us, I think, except Aaron and Lucky, are the same state.
Also,
it's Dallas and Aaron.
No, it's Aaron and me.
Okay.
Lucky's up. Lucky's like.
But also, California's a very tall state, chat.
Yeah, no, I still am like 8 hours away by car from Aaron. Like at least.
But there's also another thing, which is like, there's a sidebar which is like, hey, so if you don't have a rule book, that's okay. Just so long as somebody can reference the rules, that's all right. And is like, looking at online,
Omega,
like fan-made rule supplements are nice.
Okay,
it's cool, but they
Wait, no,
also,
I
let me
don't
finish,
say
because
this,
I'm explaining two F's of a paragraph in a text box. But then they're also like, but also, fan-made supplements, can't be considered definitive. And I'm like, whose fault is that though? Whose fault is that?
Also, there needs to be... Okay, I need to say this, please, just because I have limited time. Also, your game is very specific of needing models and locations and markers, and you make no virtual assets to use publicly.
I can tell you exactly why that is, and it's something I personally fucking hate. Basically, this can... I don't want to say this too cheekily, but this is the Pathfinder problem. And the reason I call it the Pathfinder problem, because it doesn't actually have to do with, like, Pathfinder itself. It has to do with what led to the creation of Pathfinder.
You mean Paizo? Like Paizo problem?
No. I'm saying the cultural shift that led to... So basically, D&D 4.0, or D&D 4th Ed, whatever you want to call it, was very online friendly and was supposed to launch with an online client. And a lot of weird people on the internet took that to mean if they didn't like D&D 4th edition, they had to hate all online and virtual clients. And that's eventually what morphed into the initial Pathfinder push. Because I don't know if you remember, Pathfinder came about because people were upset with 4th.
Yeah, it was a multi-layered, but part of the great sins against 4th was that it launched with a digital character builder app where you could purchase books and input them. That's right. That's not new, chat. That existed in 4th in the early 2000s.
I just want to be clear. This isn't a insult to Pathfinder. It's not about Pathfinder. It's about the attitude that created Pathfinder.
Yeah, because I think Paizo has historically been pretty good about PDFs.
Yeah, Paizo has been very good about that. Like, literally, their entire store, when you buy a book physically, they also send you the PDF.
That's now.
Which lots of other studios
that
do,
did not start like that.
Okay, yes, but I feel like...
But they are pretty good now, but...
Let me say this.
Go ahead. Yeah, because I have another thought as well.
I will say this, Dallas. You might want to rename it the Pathfinder problem, because I feel like if you print other people, it'll prevent people thinking you associating that with current day Paizo to back then, which is a problem itself.
I mean, the problem with calling it the 4th edition, calling it the 4th edition problem is that would make people assume he's talking about the sins of 4th edition, which he's not, because I think Dallas and I both
it's
like
the sins.
It was a very
4th edition is my favorite edition of D&D, personally.
I need to. I actually, as someone that tried to make a character version, I think it was pretty cool because I like making. I was able to make a magic tank, and it was cool. And it's like, I like
4th has so many super cool ideas.
Mechanically, it's cool. I just think it should have been called a different game and maybe handled a bit better. Because if it was called a different kind of game, it probably would have. People would have been like less bitchy about it.
I mean, yes, but also like the actual like lore changes mechanically from D&D are. They're not that people pretend there's a lot of sacred cow shit, and it really wasn't that much. Like there are some issues with some of the settings.
I think there's,
but the
I think there's
default
more
kind of
sacred
like
cow
points of
problems
light
from 2nd edition to 3rd.
Also, a lot of the I'll be honest, a lot of the D&D settings kind of aren't great. Like
I think I don't know what Eberron is like actually.
Well, a lot of them needed a refresh because they like. either only existed in second or were like barely ported in 3.5 or 3E, and then did get a rework. Because like I don't remember actually if there was an official Dark Sun supplement for like third.
There was. Oh no, for third, I don't believe there was.
Because for second, it came out in second, and then in fourth, they actually like tried to do the different rules that are in Dark Sun for fourth. But again, so like Wizards was trying. I think the push for the problem was that it also came combined with a thing that was not as cool, and I do not stand for as much. Was physically.
Just like
that's fine.
I look at it very differently, but I guess it's because I have a weird perspective on how.
Whoa! Sorry, that was fighting a sneeze there.
What
I was saying before OBS disconnected chat. Like I said, Wizards was saying how successful their minis line was. So fourth was the one where they moved from 5 feet to squares. Like they deliberately wanted to constrain it as a physical game of minis, as a marketing scheme. But they were working on this digital alternative. The problem was that for very tragic real-world reasons, the fully digital client did not materialize. They're like one developer was involved in a tragic bit of business.
Murder-suicide.
Yeah, so like they lost it all because it was being spearheaded by one guy. This is why you should have redundancy, chat. So like the digital revolution didn't happen, and we got kind of the wishy-washiness of fifth, and then also not calling it a new edition for the revisions and stuff. But like the positioning of the game is of the games are very odd. I will also say some of this I do believe is meant to appeal to gaming stores, like the stuff like if you buy a physical you get the PDF for free. That's meant to satisfy both the customer and the store, because if you want to be stocked in a game store, I know that I don't know if Edge does this exactly, but I know that Fantasy Flight, when they were working on RPGs for Star Wars, they couldn't release PDFs because the Star Wars licensing was so arcane that when EA had that exclusivity, that included electronic games, which apparently PDFs of physical tabletop games are. But
that's such like legal bullshit.
Yeah, no, it was so goofy. They're better about that now, but they still don't. They don't necessarily have electronic games license.
It's like saying they owned all the Kindle books because they're digital books.
It's so weird, yeah.
So
but for like Legend of the Five Rings, they were very explicit that they did brick and mortar. Despite the fact that the PDF obviously would be ready the moment the book went to the printers to print, they always delayed PDF releases until a couple of weeks after the physical book release, because they were trying to appeal to their retail buyers. So it could be some elements of that, but also like FF14 RPG, where we started this. You're a post-COVID RPG. You should have better digital tools.
Can't.
Like that's y'all know about.
I'll
that's
be
the thing,
very.
Right, is like you. That happens.
Yes.
You gotta be ready for electronic shit.
The battle for electronic versus physical gaming has been lost. Electronic won, and COVID is the reason. Not even like I'm not even gonna entertain.
It's not a
arguments
joke.
to the other.
No, it's just like
people.
That is what
I am
happened.
a lucky person. I'm a lucky person that I live in a neighborhood where there are 2 game stores that run weekly physical D&D sessions. But most people in the world don't live in those neighborhoods.
Yeah, I mean, there was a tabletop club at my college, but I lived 30 minutes away, and they were meeting at like 8 o'clock at night, so it was tough. Tough to run those kinds of things, and God knows, like obviously I was out of college for many, many years by that point, but those meetings were hosted in classrooms. You couldn't do COVID. There were more than 5 people in those rooms, and there was not enough room for spacing. Would not have been able to do it. So you need digital tools. So like I said, I'm still working on the 14 vid. We'll see about running that together, because honestly, the game is beautiful and has some really good advice, and also is really fun. Like, it looks like it's fun to play. And has lots of, they solved the problem of, hey, a light party's normally 4 people who are, 1 tank, 1 healer, 2 DPS. What do you do if the players don't want to do that? Hey, you can just have chocobos. You can just use chocobo companions to fill out roles, and if you have less than 4 people, they can do it. You might have a hard time if you're playing a pre-written adventure because it's balanced for a light party, but you should be able to do it. Hey, you can get a weapon enhancement so you can cast, basic cure spells. So, you could have a party of 8 DPSs if you felt like it.
I will say that, I think we'll have more than, 4 people available for, for the situation, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, that will at least, because I'm probably going to run some of the pre-written scenarios to, like, test it out for people before I get into developing my own shit. It'll be very interesting to see if we do get, like, 5 or 6 people, what that looks like. But let us leave the realm of tabletop RPGs for now.
All right,
just saying that we
sorry.
might... I mean, it is Fail Portrayal related. We might move Fail Portrayal to a Monday to make some room for some of that, because, like Axe said, he will be playing Pathfinder until the heat death of the universe. Like I
Or
said,
at least
I didn't get it at first, but like,
dies or like something until like I become a horrible until I burn all those bridges by accident or by having a mental shutdown. We'll see.
No. See,
Yeah,
what happens is
over anything else.
One of your group members is going to reveal himself to be a neo-Nazi, and that's how your group is going to implode.
Unfortunately, that's not possible considering I know them all personally, and they.
Axe, I'm not even kidding you. That is how my D&D group disbanded.
Okay.
And this was something I'd known since high school.
Shit gets weird. I think that is unlikely in Axe's case, but is many such cases. But we're gonna leave that off and re-enter the Yu-Gi-Oh realm. Like I said, they're doing the Legend Anthology Festival right now on Master Duel. If you want to check it out, Loth's not here yet, but I will remind him he might want to try that because you do get the Infinity King Gates or the Infinity Gate. Supreme King Infinity Gate graveyard
When's
for it.
Run to?
It's probably like 2 or 3 weeks. It started a couple
did
days
it
ago,
just
so if you
start?
want that, you got to get in there. Yeah. Well, also, Dallas,
probably
if you
should.
haven't been paying attention to Master Duel, the latest selection pack does have Yummies in it, but it also has all the brand new DDD shit.
Yeah.
Like Queen Machinex and
okay.
stuff like that. So, like...
Yeah, fair enough. Alright.
Events are a great way to get a lot of gems, and personally, I actually found Yummy to be relatively cheap to build with all the pre-hits. There is some discussion that Yummy's not actually the top deck pre-hit, because they banned Obedient Schooled, and like 2 of the key cards are already semi-limited. And Draco Tell basically has no hits. So it's an interesting case, but Yummy is fun, and I may talk about it more later. Let's talk about some overframes. Because like I said earlier, before you got in, Dallas, I was a little surprised they're doing a second wave, but they are, and some of these are a little more finely tuned for their home archetypes than you might expect. Starting with this boy. This is the multiplying Karibo! Exclamation point. So, in case that wasn't already happened, so obviously, by the way, beautiful, like, great use of the overframe here for this art of just Karibos coming out of nowhere. But this is a Dark Fiend. Level 1, 300 attack, 200 defense. Same stats as regular Karibo. You can only use the first effect once per turn. So hard once on the first effect. When an opponent's monster declares an attack or your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, special summon this card from your hand. So that's a hard once. So that is a turn 0 play, but also works on attack deck. Once per turn, if an opponent's monster attacks during damage calculation or when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, quick effect, you can add to your hand or special summon 1 Dark Magician or 1 monster with 300 attack and 200 defense from your deck or graveyard. Then change that opponent's monster's attack to 0. So, Dark Magician from deck or graveyard. By the way, the new Overframe Dark Magician, I'm pretty sure he counts as Dark Magician on field and in graveyard. The Gold Sark Dark Magician counts as Dark Magician on field and in graveyard, pretty sure. So that's pretty crazy. Also, a shitload of cards with 300 attack and 200 defense. Can't wait for the Jaxel video. But yeah, no, this is pretty good. There are a lot of decks which can play this. Obviously, the new Dark Magician stuff will probably play it. And this gives you turn 0 play in DM. Your opponent activates a monster effect. You summon a guy. Your opponent activates a monster effect again. You special summon another guy. Or add to hand if you don't want a special. Seems pretty good.
Like it seems good. I just I need to see how that deck is going to play afterwards to see if it's like worth it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've been burned too often by DM being like, "Oh, guys, it'll finally be rogue playable." Nope.
The brand new guy who they have announced they are not. We are not doing the tactical tri-deck. Seems like a big waste, Konami. But at the very least, stores will sell Mazes of Muertos product because that's going to have the new Masked Heroes, the new Dark Magician stuff, and the brand new like Call of the Haunted Pumpkin retrain stuff. along with probably some other imports. But yeah, we are going to get that new Fusion Dark Magician of Chaos soon, so we will possibly see what that will look like, because people have said that guy does have legs, and with these 2 Overframe supports, it may be possible that's got some real legs. Speaking of Karibo, though, we've got another one.
Believe it when I see it.
True. Winged Karibo Sabatiel, level 10. Yes, this is our second GX membership. Wasn't enough just to get the favorite hero. We gotta crank in our boy Winged Karibo. This is a light fairy, level 10 with 300 attack and 200 defense. So this is a target for multiplying Karibo. You can only use the first and second effect each once per turn. You can reveal this card in your hand, pay half your LP, add 1 polymerization spell or 1 fusion spell from your deck to your hand. If you do, shuffle this card into the deck. You can't special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except hero monsters. During your opponent's turn, if you have 1,000 or less LP, quick effect, special summon this card from your hand, then inflict damage to your opponent equal to the highest attack among the monsters they control. Second effect, probably nothing unless you redraw it on your turn. But this could be a fairly reliable... I mean, it says literally polymerization spell, so hey, pay 4K, search Super Poly.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's
good, but
hero decks do not hurt for the ability to search fusion spells.
This isn't what hero decks need. This is not what hero...
This is kind of similar to the last hero card we were talking about earlier, Dallas, before you got in. We talked about how that guy, the favorite hero, because he's super generic, is probably not actually that good in a hero deck, but is a great Super Poly target for just any deck playing it. I feel like Sabatiel here is kind of similar, of just hey, what if you just had a card that let you search Super Poly? That might also have a hand trap effect to dome your opponent. For damage. That's cool. I don't know if that helps. But it does. Yeah. It does do that.
Like I said, I think it's really neat. I just think, unfortunately, it does that thing where it solves a problem that didn't need solving.
I mean, basically, as far as I can tell, this is literally... the card art's really good, but this is literally Winged Karibo level 10 effect plus the Philosopher's Stone Sabatiel effect, which is, search a poly from your graveyard. It's just now it's a hand trap, which is useful. People played the Philosopher's Stone Sabatiel in decks. People have been that down bad for a polymerization searcher, so it's possible this guy makes the cut, but fusion technology has advanced a long way, chat.
Yeah, if anything, I see this seeing play in decks that aren't hero.
Okay, OBS reconnected. I don't know what's going on with OBS today. But let us talk about our next one. This is Star Junk Synchron. Making official a joke many people have said about combining these 2 archetypes.
I will say this is cool. Probably my least favorite art.
Really? Okay.
I mean, I think it's I think these arts have depreciated, and maybe it's just I feel like they don't use the frame enough.
I mean, this one, he's got both he's jumped out of the frame, but also has these synchro wheels behind him, also outside of the frame. He's shooting towards us.
No, I understand, but I will say. Maybe it's because I don't care about 5Ds that I'm like, eh.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. It's to a lot of people.
He's doing the thing. We'll see when we look at the one after this how you feel about the art going. But Starjunk Synchron's a Dark Warrior tuner, level 3, 13 attack, 500 defense. For a synchro summon, you can substitute for this for any synchron tuner. You can use the first and second effect once per turn. So he like many good modern synchron cards can be any synchron because they had a funny thing where they were locked to certain tuners. If this card's in your hand, you can target 1 level 2 or lower monster in your graveyard. Special summon this card. If you do special summon that monster, but its effects are negated, you can't special summon from the extra deck except synchro monsters this turn. For the rest of this turn, I should say. So they are being smart about preventing you from just turning synchro spam decks into link spam decks.
I also,
You could-
I think I realized something.
Yeah.
I think maybe one of the reasons I'm so nonplussed or not impressed is because the last card art set I looked at was the Lorwyn reveals.
Ah.
So like anything I
That's-
looked at was just gonna look awful.
Aren't those like your favorite cards of all
Crazy.
time, design-wise?
I wouldn't
Probably-
say
or
no.
high up
Probably
there.
still. They're high up there, definitely. And honestly, the quality is very high. But like, yeah. No. Like I said, I really liked the Karibo one, the first Karibo one. Thought that one was cool, and I like the one that we haven't talked about yet. That's the show note, or the thumbnail rather.
You'll see some others that I think are pretty cool. But yeah, I will say, Starjunk Synchron is not like super dynamic. I get what he's going for because he's doing a very iconic thing, but it is pretty normal, pretty expected. He has a second effect, by the way, which is you can banish this card from your graveyard. Junk Warrior you control can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects this turn. There are quite a lot of Synchro Warrior, Synchron, type decks that already have substitutes. I will say I think this is a pretty good one for substituting, for any of your other Synchron tuners. He does have a pretty decent special summon condition, but obviously can't be the first because you have to have a card in graveyard. So he's not like the most generic extender, but he could be played in decks. I genuinely don't know what Synchron is doing these days.
Yeah, that's one of those decks that, like, similar to DDD, it has 50 different deck lists, and they're all viable. So,
yeah, you're gonna be synchro summoning. There's there are bad. I'll say this: there are bad Synchron cards, but there are enough good Synchron cards that you can make a deck of just good cards and have cards left over. It's very similar, I want to say, to Galaxy Eyes in that way. I don't think modern Galaxy Eyes decks are bad. They're just a little reliant on blind seconding. You basically make, like, if you're going first, you have to make, like, Hope Harbinger pass type shit.
so nice.
All right, OBS once again dropped. It's apparently OBS drops day. Don't know what's going on there. But hey, you can see this is a card. Surprise.
Gagaga Magician.
Gagaga Magician, Gagaga Magic. This is the one I was talking about in this set that's like, I mean, he's punching.
Okay, this one's pretty sick.
Yeah, he's punching out of the frame. That's pretty good.
That's pretty sick. Like,
yeah,
no.
like very good use of the overframe effect. I have to breathe deep to prep for this. I got to do my deep breathing. So, Gagaga Magician, Gagaga Magic is a dark spellcaster, level 4, 1500 attack, 1000 effect. You can only use this card's effect, or the effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is in your hand, you can special summon it and one other Zubababa, Gagaga, Gogogo, or Dododo monster from your hand or graveyard, except Gagaga Magician, Gagaga Magic. If you do, immediately after this effect resolves, Xyz summon one Zubababa, Gagaga, Gogogo, Dododo, Jin, Heroic Champion, Number, ZW, or ZS monster using only those two monsters. When you do, treat the level of one of those monsters as the same as the others. Yeah, this one sucks to read, but yes, this is another 9 billion stonks to Automat, basically. Yes, so not only does this freely extend to special summon any Zubaba Gagaga Go 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 Do Do Do, you then immediately get to overlay into not just any of the Automats, but also Jins, Heroic Champions, any number, any ZW or ZS monster, so long as you can make the numbers match. And, like, this is just from your hand, special summon two guys, immediately Xyz summon them. This probably is going in Automat decks. Automat decks already have, like, are rogue playable, if not tiered. This is just another guy that instantly gets into your extra deck. Like, nah, yeah, this is good. This guy looks good, and he is good. He is useful.
Yeah.
Like, just cheat out some guys.
This is both my favorite of the cards and of the art so far.
Yes. So, very, very, very solid play. Next.
Just because Automat is like an actual rogue deck as opposed to DM, which is kind of just there.
Not yet a rogue deck. Like we said, there are predictions based around the tactical try cards, But
people try to play
those
it
are
as
not
a
yet.
rogue deck, but it just doesn't work.
So next we have a pendulum.
Yeah, people are gonna hate how much I'm just shitting on DM.
You do it from Dallas. You do it from a place of love. You've tried to make DM work. You've
do.
played a lot of DM.
I
know
do.
this. It's like
I
me with
have.
Red Eyes. Like I've tried to play pure Red Eyes for literal years. It doesn't work. The deck's not good. Konami refuses to give it the tools it needs to be good. Mostly because they're babies. They're babies who are scared of Darkness Metal Dragon.
At least I can say that, similar to you actually with Red Eyes, we had a support piece for our archetype be a tier 0 meta deck.
Was it by chance the same piece of support?
No, actually, I'm not even talking about Dragoon.
No, yeah.
No, I'm talking about Magician's Souls was a mainstay in Spiral.
Yes. Honestly, Magician's Souls is a crazy-ass card. It always crops up in weird
That
places.
card is nuts. And
was
everyone always forgets how many things it does.
Yeah, that's like one of the major engines you play in Gate Guardian, because guess what? Kazejin is a level 7 spellcaster for some reason.
God,
So like
dumb.
just no, also, I will say this. The Gate Guardian shit is so funny. The actual Gate Guardian fusion cards are really good. You just have to play an unbelievable amount of bricks to make it work. And the tech shit people came up with to make that shit work is so funny. If you're playing the accepted meta version of Gate Guardian, which admittedly is only a rogue strat, but like did actually see some play when those cards were brand new.
Oh, yeah.
You're playing Magician Souls. You're playing a Hero Lives and an Elemental Hero Prisma package.
Yep.
So you can
Look,
put guys in
I
the
consider
graveyard.
the Gate
Crazy shit.
personally. I consider the Gate Guardian one of the two pillars of rogue decks. To me, there are two types of rogue decks. There is what I would like to call the DDDs, and this is heavily biased because you can use a couple archetypes, but the DDD style of rogue decks where it's very xenophobic. You have to play a bunch of combo lines, but if you play them right, you can win, and usually the reason you win is because no one knows where to hand trap you. And then there's the Gate Guardian style where you play 50 bricks in a deck, and if you don't brick, you stomp your opponent like a mud hole. But the reason you're not a tier 1 deck is because of the bricks.
Yes, exactly. No, you are describing me playing Gate Guardian. I played that for a couple of seasons in Master Duel. If you draw correctly, you are a god. You will make big Gate Guardian with his triple negate, and usually a second Gate Guardian, which you... Let me look at it. Okay, Obi's reconnected again. Once again, don't know what's going on. Maybe the end of the world really is happening. But like, so here's the funny thing about Gate Guardian. It's not a brick if you draw all 3 big Gate Guardian guys, because that's a valid summon. That means you can banish those 3 guys and make big Gate Guardian. It's a problem if you draw, all of your, like, Suijins or Kazejins, because you can't fuse the 2-man guys from hand. Only field or graveyard, I think. Might even be only field.
Omega, I know how I fixed it. Do you want to know how I fixed it?
How?
There were 2 routes to play Gate Guardian, in my opinion. You either play with a bunch of help for the deck, or... So I played Branded Despia Gate Guardian.
No, that's not, like, wrong. You can work with that. Like I said, I prefer the strat of maximizing this stuff. Like, you play Sacred Sword of the 7 Stars because you can recycle for banish and shit. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on there. Gate Guardian is for like TCG first, like legacy support. Honestly, I'm super excited for the Pumpkin King stuff because there have been 3 mazes sets that have come out, chat. The previous 3 have been Gate Guardian, which like was very usable, and like honestly, if they printed more, like the main thing is just, again, that's a deck of only like 20 cards, so you have to fill the space anyway. If they actually printed some more Gate Guardian support, that deck would probably be Rogue again. Like if they just gave them some new pieces to play around their problems. Flame Swordsman, which is also like it's primarily a blind second strat, so long as you're not Peeps Yu-Gi-Oh, who plays it as a going first trap deck. But if you play it as a blind second OTK deck, it is incredibly consistent at the OTK. It was, the only problem was I think it was the same era as Tenpai, so it was budget Tenpai, and Tenpai was already budget. But, like, very functional archetype that did get some ongoing support. And then, Man. The latest Mazes archetype was Man. aka Man with the Mark. So Odeon shit, which is meta.
I hate that deck so much.
It is a yes. That deck is actually very annoying. I got bodied earlier the other day in the festival because, chat. I don't understand how this works, but I guess it's because they're in the same chain. I got negated by the Apophis that negates twice, despite the fact that it says you can only use each of these effects once per turn. Don't know how the fuck that happened.
Oh, no, Omega. Because when it turns face down, it resets itself or some shit.
No. It was two Apophoses in the same chain. I don't know how that worked, but I did get multi-negated.
Well, because it's fuck you. It's for some reason because fuck you. Like
yeah, like
that
the
is
moment that happened,
is a
I did
magic.
rage quit.
That is a magic ass happening of like. That is a magic ass moment of like. I know there is some weird ruling that has fucked me here, but I can't be asked to look it up.
Yeah, but anyway, Horoscope Magician, the Stargazer Magician, or Horoscope Sorcerer, the Stargazer Magician. We got a new Pendy. Level 5 Pendulum effect. 1200 attack, 2400 defense is Pendulum Scale 1. The Pendulum effect is when an opponent's activated spell card or effect resolves, if you control a Magician, Pendulum monster, or an Odd Eyes monster, you can negate that effect and then destroy this card. So it is a spell negate at resolution, which is fairly rare but pretty cool, but you will be destroying yourself, so you have to be careful about. Like, obviously, usually you want to blow yourself up, but that's cool.
Holy
monster effects. First, second, and third effect.
Oh, sorry.
What up?
No,
You reading ahead?
Sorry, I read a headline. God, for the one person in Omega's audience that watches football, a coach that has been coaching for 17 years just stepped down after losing in the playoffs last night. Mike Tomlin. He has never had a losing season in his entire coaching career.
Damn. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've heard of him. Anyway.
Sorry.
No, that's fair.
Dude, I was just like, what the hell?
Monster effects. First, second, and third effect, each once per turn. Number 1, you can discard one other Magician, Pendulum monster, Performer Pound monster, or Odd Eyes monster. Special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned, you can add a Pendulum monster, 2500 attack from your deck to your hand. So, hey, remember how we were considering how to search the new Odd Eyes who is good? You know, there are several ways to do it, but this is one more of them. You can target a Pendulum monster card you control, destroy it, then add a face-up Pendulum from your extra deck to your hand. So you can just do the fucking astrograph shit.
Yugi Boomers are going to hate me for this. I feel like Pendulum cards are just inherently better than normal cards. Or at least have a higher floor. Because I feel like every one of the Pendulum ones that we've done for these overbreaks have been good.
I think it's because Pendulum has been, like... And you can't just say it's the TCG's fault, because, like, the OCG's also not printing support. I feel like Konami has been trying to get away from Pendulums, like, actually doing Pendulums as they existed in 2015 and later. Since then, like, you have a lot of weird decks like Valence and other stuff that, like, don't do it, or they have xenophobic locks. Like, literally, we were talking about some... Yeah, that's right, we talked about Super Heavy. Super Heavy has the, you know, several of the you can only Pendulum summon Super Heavies type shit. And now we're in, like, this is all supposed to be nostalgia bait. They're like, fuck it. Pendulums can be good. Pendulum Magicians can be good. Who cares? I don't know what the... Because I will say this. I have heard some pushback from people about MBT's opinion about quote-unquote pendulum slop, which he was saying very early, by the way, in the slop discourse. Or even before slop became a word, pendulum soup.
Okay. I'm going to say this. I love MBT. One of the things... Okay, I shouldn't say that because there's actually a lot of things, but the least actually relevant and harmful thing I hate the most about 2025 is the popularization of the word slop. Is the most annoying thing I've ever heard, and this comes from someone who's in middle school, works with middle schoolers and kindergartners, so I hear 6-7 all the time. I'm sorry,
6-7.
the word slop. The word slop
Oh,
pisses me
slop.
off 10,000 times more.
You
mean
introduced
anything.
me. You introduced me to the
Quality
post
slop?
that killed slop. Yes, the quality slop, and I'm
yes,
just like,
quality slop
oh my
is
God,
the post
yes,
that
we
killed
have.
slop.
Referencing
That
the
is the
most
post
recent
that
Russian
killed
Badger
slop.
video, by the way. But like I said, I
Like-
think MBT was technically saying slop like in 2024.
Oh,
I
he was
think,
definitely
like
way
very
ahead
early
of
in the phrase, and
her.
even before slop entered
Well,
parlance. Like I said,
okay.
I think he would say pendulum soup decks.
I can't. So fun fact, Omega, because I know this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say this word on air because I don't want Omega to get demonetized. But the term slop traditionally is a LGBTQ thing that was like popularized in 2024 to describe like weird fan art posts. I'm not, once again, not going to say the word. I can say it, but once again, YouTube doesn't make that. YouTube doesn't care.
That's fair. I think
can't show
think
my
I get
paths to YouTube. Yeah, no, I'm trying to say it without saying it.
Saying yes, and that honestly,
Yeah,
that
no.
explains to me, I think, how slop got transitioned onto first certain kinds of AI generated fan arts. And okay, I see the path in my my neurons are firing.
No,
I see it. Yes.
No.
But the pendulum soup decks, you know, we'll say soup in this case, because I think that's what MBT said earlier. I've heard some people push back that like MBT was wrong, that is what pendulum thinkers have been playing for a while, and I think that is correct. But also Performapal / Performage / Odd Eyes / Pendulum Magicians / a bunch of other things is an anime deck, which unfortunately means it is inherently soup-like because there are 9 billion pieces of support. We literally just had this conversation about Galaxy Eyes. So I genuinely do not know what people who are playing Pendy Magician are playing these days. I think the new Stargazer, the Horoscope Magician here, is
100%.
good, but I do not know what the deck list looks like.
Well, because I think there's like
the TCG has to unban Electromite, right?
Save my pal. Like
she's
of the dumbest.
Like, listen, I
cards
started
still
off
there.
as an Electromite hater, but I am also a Metal Foes truther, and I have seen Yu-Gi-Oh do so much bullshit.
Oh, you mean how everyone has a fucking Poplar now, which is like 100 times better than Electromite?
Yes, I think we even like did some science. There were Poplars before Poplars, but Poplar is like the guy.
The Poplarification of support has made the banning of Electromite the funniest. Well, not funniest.
Now just like any
like
two guys that includes, I think it's one Pendulum monster for Electromite, two plus or two effect monsters, one of which is a Pendulum. I think is its mats. Like, that's nothing compared to cards that, like you said, add a card. Or even worse than Poplars, which our decks are still getting these days, Circulars, like Mathmech Circulars. To special summon this card, send a guy for cost. Foolish Burial, an archetype guy for cost to special summon this guy. That's crazy. It's insane. Electromite is nothing. But she's still banned, and I don't get it anymore. I no longer understand the logic. So, like, they're releasing so much Pendulum support, they gotta be doing it. But like I said, I don't know what we're doing in Pendulum Magicians. I'll show this card to Loth later and see what he thinks. But otherwise, I'm like, I don't fucking know. So, our next one, or actually our last one, representing Vrains, it's not a Link monster.
Nope.
It's a ritual.
It's a ritual.
Cyber's Code Magician, Dark Cyber's Ritual, level 7, 2500 attack, 2000 defense. Because remember, Firewall Dragon wasn't Playmaker's only, ace-type monster. This guy's, built like that. You can ritual summon this with Signet Ritual, so it does, it is pre-preppable. You only use the first and second effect once per turn. If a Link monster you control would be used as Link material for a Cyber's monster, this card in your hand can also be used as material. Fuck you don't even got to ritual summon this guy. If this card is sent from hand or the field to the graveyard, you can activate this effect. You can't special summon for the rest of this turn except Cybers. Also, send a Cybers monster from your deck to the graveyard, or if this card was ritual summoned, you can special summon that monster instead. Crazy shit. Like, There
Good.
are several. We talked about Code Talkers, at length. There are several Code Talker type cards and Cybers cards that do that. This is pretty good. Like, Cybers Ritual is already a thing. It's never a brick. Like, if you don't have pre-prep or the ability to search any Signet spell trap, which, again, you have several ways to do. There are several designer ways in Link Cybers and Cybers Ritual to do that. It's never a brick because all you got to do when you Link Climb, he's just free material your opponent doesn't know about. He's just hiding in your hand. And then he lets you Foolish a guy. If you did special summon him, he lets you special summon a guy from deck. Because fuck you.
Yeah.
Will this
like
make
it.
Code Talkers
Also, once
good?
again,
Don't fucking know. Don't think so.
It might make, because like if you want to give shade to Pendulum Soup, you have to also give shade to Cyber Soup.
Yes, true. The
might...
locking yourself to Cybers is such a nothing burger.
It might give some sort of Cyber deck some kick. Like I could see this being spicy to brew with in like a Spiral build. I think most of them are Cybers. Oh no, not Spiral. What am I thinking of? It's just some stuff. It's just fun to think with, and it can lead to very funny Dark Fluid lines.
Yes.
Which makes me happy.
It's a good card. It's a good card. I think there's fun stuff. But let's see the rivals.
I'm not looking for necessarily meta viability. I'm looking for.
Unfortunately,
like,
for some reason, as seen from
fun.
the thumbnail, the rival section of the Overframe, they do not have a good blow up of Wedgio organization did not save their enhanced graphics of the new Blue Eyes, so you got to look at it a little pixelated.
That's true, but this art blows the other Blue Eyes out of the water. I'm sorry.
I will agree.
I'm tired of pretending it doesn't.
This is pretty good.
Holy shit. This
Honestly,
is, other than maybe Gagaga Magician, but that's just kind of, I just think it's neat. But from an art standpoint, this is the best one by far.
Honestly, Deep Eyes was a pretty good design for Dark Side of Dimensions.
I love Deep Eyes so much better than Blue Eyes art.
So
like,
we're definitely keeping the spirit of it, which is super cool. So this is Deep Eyes White Dragon, the Blue Abyss. A Light Dragon effect monster, level 10, 0/0. This card is always treated as a Blue Eyes card. You can use the first and second effects of this card name once per turn. You can discard this card, add a level 1 Light Tuner from your deck to your hand. 10,000 more years of Maiden of White. Also, any of your other level 1 tuner starters. That is, unfortunately, that's what this card is going to be used to do, which is sad, because that's the more boring part.
I'm hopeful that I can... Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. Continue with the second effect.
Second effect. If a Blue Eyes Ritual monster and/or a Blue Eyes White Dragon is sent to your graveyard, you can target one of them. Special summon this card from your graveyard if it's there when the monster is sent, or hand, even if not. If you do, its attack becomes that monster's, but banish it when it leaves the field. So this is, I mean, obviously it also works for vanilla Blue Eyes White Dragon when they're sent, to let you basically carbon copy out another 3k attacker. I really like the fact that this does also, like, support you going back to Blue Eyes Ritual stuff. Like,
yeah,
it's.
I kind of want to build a fun brew with that.
Like, no, Blue Eyes has actually gotten lots of good legacy support. It is no longer, and has not been for at least a couple of years since they re-released the structure deck. Chaos Max Turbo, stop saying Chaos Max, etc. This is a card that rewards you for going that direction because it gives you a 4K guy. Also, hold it. Sorry, another sneeze. Sorry about that, chat. Excuse me. But also, Chaos Max is a guy who can't be targeted and can't be destroyed. So, like, your opponent has to work their butt off to get rid of him. So, if they do send him to your graveyard, you just get to go, cool, I make another 4K attacker. No, he doesn't have protection, but presumably you used all your good shit getting rid of Chaos Max. Also, by the way, though, I'll say this, at least for Blue Eyes players, been killing a lot of them in Legacy Festival. I joked earlier with Axe. Blue Eyes players don't activate 16 cards challenge. Don't make my Metal Flame Swordsman, 8,000 attack and take 8,000 damage. Challenge impossible. But it is a deck that is pretty linear and does struggle going second because you do have a couple of cute plays, like the Link one is crazy, shit like that. Also, honestly, their fucking rank 8 is stupid. I would have lost to Indigo Eyes, because when it's Xyz summoned, it negates your whole opponent's boards. Except I hadn't used my Full Metal Dragon negate, so I stopped that and domed them for 4K. But, they have a lot of really good support that's hard to make into boards that are pre-established. I don't know if this necessarily helps them with that part, but it does give them recovery, which is probably good. Like, this shapes Blue Eyes decks... Well, the second effect shapes Blue Eyes decks in a way that I think is interesting. The first effect is just more... I almost said tuner slop. Just, like, the deck is already playing 9 million level 1 tuners. Maybe you should shave some of those and just play this instead as a more interesting card than playing, like, the Stones. I think the Stones are pretty outdated. People still play them. But
Yeah,
also,
I don't know.
I will say, one thing that's super cool about this. But one thing that is super fun. Well, we'll chew through these pretty fast. Is this second wave? It's not all of them, but it has some actual like spell traps in it. I think there was only like one before, but we got a couple more. First of which is we have retrained Future Fusion again, and
made it worse, kind of.
Made it worse, but made it better for the archetype. Not that I think Cyber Dragon needed the help, but we'll see. So this is Future Fusion Nova. Continuous spell, you can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. When this card resolves, fusion summon a Light Machine Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your deck, including Cyber Dragon. Also, for the rest of this turn, you can't special summon except machines. You can't attack except with the summon monster. If this card leaves the field, destroy that monster. If that monster is destroyed, destroy this card. Now, I'm pretty sure that this sets up the new Cyber Dragon fusion that they revealed last time, which is a pretty good OTKer. So the not only being able to attack with that monster doesn't matter part, because if you get to your battle phase uninterrupted with that big guy, your opponent is dead. But this is really interesting, because on the one hand, huge failure point. If this card leaves the field, you destroy that monster. So that means you can protect it, but still, it makes it more vulnerable. But this is just Red Eyes fusion for Cyber Dragons, basically, for light machines.
So I called this bad, and it kind of is. But this card is made exactly for me. And what I mean by that is I don't think this card is that particularly good in pure Cyber Dragon. However, if you're a sicko like me and you like making random-ass combination decks like Sidra, Orcus, and stuff like that, it's really funny. Because you can dump your entire Orcus combo through summoning, what is it, Sidra Eternity, I think?
Yeah, no. Oh, no, like I said, it's... Cyber Dragon already has several alternatives to Future Fusion. You don't necessarily need Nova. It is pretty funny, and like I said, it's basically Red Eyes Fusion, but good in that sense, because you're you're locked to machines. How terrible. But you just get to dump all your materials from deck. I guess actually you could call it a Brilliant Fusion as well, because it just says from deck. So you can run into Garnet problems.
Yeah.
But it's funny, and I think it has its uses.
Well, if you're playing any amount of Cyber Dragons, there's like 50 billion copies of Sidra in your deck.
Yeah. You can make it work. Next,
but yeah, you can do
trap.
some funny stuff with it. You can summon Mechaba, which is funny.
Well, he is a light
I don't know
machine,
how good
isn't
it
he?
is, but it's funny. Yeah, as long as you use Alistair and a Sidra as material.
Dump an Alistair and a Sidra from your deck? I mean, it works.
Yeah.
So this is Red Dragon Archfiend's Chain, or Red Daemon's Chain. Pretty sure this is referencing something from the anime or manga. Don't know why we've got 3 Stardustes, but it's pretty cool. We've got them posing in a bunch of different ways. We're doing something neat. So
Well, I think it's Sidra, Stardust, Stardust Assault, and I don't know what the last one is.
Yeah, I don't know what the big wings.
Because one looks like ripped.
Yeah.
No, the one in the back I'm pretty sure is Assault.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure then. Because I don't think it would be Rising. Also, Red Rising is the red version of that. What's the Shooting Star Dragon? Is the lower
maybe.
level Stardust? That's the 7, I think? Yeah. Don't know. This is a continuous
It might
trap
be the
that
one
says...
yeah.
Continuous trap that says you can activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. You can activate this card the turn it was set by revealing 1 Red Dragon Archfiend in your extra deck. Very funny to get around the way.
I don't know if that's good or not.
Well, I do believe that while there are cards that say they're Red Dragon Archfiend on the field, it does mean you have to play the original RDA in your deck.
That's what I mean. I don't know if Red Dragon Archfiend plays RDA anymore.
I think you still play 1 just because there are some decks which name check him. Like name check summoning him out of your extra deck and shit like that. So like it works, but we'll see. There might be cards that are always RDA. I don't remember if that's how Scarlet King works or not. But still, like if you have to play a break, it's interesting. But you activate this card by revealing any number of monsters from your hand. Target effect monsters your opponent controls equal to the number of tuners revealed plus 1. They lose 100 attack for each card revealed, and their effects are negated. If the last of those monsters is not on the field, new grammar, everybody, destroy this card. So this is Fiendish Chain, but it is technically multi-target. You can like, if you're playing a deck full of tuners, which if you're playing RDA, which you probably will play this in RDA and Resonator decks because you can search Red Dragon spell traps.
By the way, I just started a duel on Master Duel.
What are you facing?
I don't know yet. I'm using a loner deck. Spoiler, I'm using the DDD loner deck. Oh, he dropped. Okay.
No good hand, surrendered. 3 wins, everybody. We take those.
We didn't even get that far.
Oh, disconnected, sort of a thing. Okay. It happens. Their servers are still a bit of a mess. But yeah, so this is searchable in Red Dragon decks, in Resonator decks. If you are actually playing Resonator, you will likely have a shitload of tuners in your hand at any given time. I think this is primarily a... Well, actually, no. It can genuinely be a going second or going first card. I don't know how much you tend to have left in your hand after a full Red Dragon combo, but you probably have a couple in there, and it is tuners revealed plus 1, so it always is 1 target, but could be more if you have tuners left in your hand. You do just have to have monsters to reveal, because they lose 100 attack, and regardless, they are negated. And then it destroys itself when all those monsters are removed. So this can be a great way to do mass negation and reduce your opponent's attack by a little bit, which is maybe all you need in a Red Dragon deck. Your monsters are already very large. So it could be very funny, I think. Again, will it be great? Don't know. Red Dragon is another one of those decks. They're getting a bunch of new support in the next OCG set. That could be something. They've had a lot of things like brewing, but also the deck's viability in like modern metagame strategy was hampered by the banning of King Calamity because King Calamity was a card that sucked ass. I'll say it. I fucking hate that guy. Cards that say your opponent can't activate effects for the rest of this turn, bad. They should all be banned, actually. That's a terrible way to design a card game. Your opponent can't do anything? Okay, cool. Like, I think there's room for, blocking the opponent from activating effects in certain phases. Like, your opponent can't activate effects during the battle phase. Cool. They just have to activate all their shit in main phase before you go to battle. God help you do something funny like your opponent can't activate effects in standby or in end phase or something. That could be funny. All the time? No, not good. Not good at all.
Yeah, bad.
But I did
Very
mention
good.
before that Galaxy Eyes might have another thing for the soup. You got it, boss. It's him.
You got it.
Galaxy Defense Robot Orbital 7. So he does have Galaxy in his name. He's looking pretty cool for Orbital 7. I like what they're doing with the drill. We're trying to add some extra effects here. This is a light machine level 8, 2K. You use the first and second effect this once per turn. You contribute this card from your hand or field. Take a Photon and a Galaxy monster from your deck, add one of them to your hand, send the other to the graveyard. You can't special for the rest of this turn except light monsters. The most nothing burger lock in the universe. If a Galaxy Eyes monster is special summoned to your field, you can special summon this card from your graveyard, banish it when it leaves the field. Once again, there are so many cards you can play that are valid in a Galaxy Eyes list. I don't know if you'd play this guy. But you can play this guy. This is eminently a playable guy. He's really playable. Tribute him, add a Photon or a Galaxy, and bin a Photon or Galaxy. Absolutely. Then you just summon a Galaxy Eyes monster and you summon him back.
Yeah.
No, yeah, like I said, I don't know. Rank 8 decks or something. This is something, for sure. But I genuinely don't know enough to commentate. So let's talk about this guy. Because I think they have to do another wave of these. Because we now have 3 of 4 Heavenly Dragons who are called the 4 Heavenly Dragons. So
Yes.
I think we have to do the 4th one. I don't know if we can avoid that. This is Clearwing Synchro Dragon of the 4 Heavenly Dragons. Shiten no Ryu, Clearwing Synchro Dragon. A Wind Dragon Synchro effect monster, level 7, 2500 attack, 2000 defense. Completely generic. This card is always treated as a Speedroid card. Good work, gang. You can use the first and second effect of this card once per turn. If this card is special summoned, not synchro summoned, special summoned, you can destroy one effect monster your opponent controls. If you do, this card gains attack equal to that original monster's attack. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can special summon one level 4 or lower Wind Tuner from your hand or graveyard, but its effects are negated. Then, immediately after this effect resolves, you can synchro summon one Wind monster. So, pretty solid. Do not know exactly where this goes in Speedroid. That's another deck that, like, I won't say they have the same level of critical mass of playable cards, but their lines have changed a lot. But this card is a great going second interrupter because it pops an effect monster, and then if you do pop, it gains attack to attack over. But also, it can tag out. It can be a going first card. Just, tag out with your tuners and make a bigger guy. Like, this can become Crystal Wing incredibly easy. Just have a level 1 Wind Tuner in your graveyard or hand.
Yep.
Hand or graveyard.
It's pretty good.
Or it can become like their level 10 or 11 guy. They've got some big guys, So, pretty flexible.
This is also probably my second favorite art.
This is pretty
after
good
the
art, yes.
debuys.
I like I like the way they play with the color scheme. Like, he's got the synchro lines and then his clear wings. He's doing the fucking lens flare eyes meme for me. Very solid one.
Yeah.
And then a deck that probably doesn't need support, but they're doing it anyway. The art, at least, is more dynamic than the last one. It's Rocket Barrage. They're shooting bullets at us. But this is Rocket Barrage. Dark Dragon, level 5, 1500 attack, 1600 defense. You can use the first and second effect each once per turn. You can send one Dark Dragon monster from your deck to your graveyard except a level 5. Special summon this card from your hand, but you can't special summon for the rest of the turn except Dark. It's a circular. When a Link monster's effect is activated, it targets this card in the field. Quick effect, you can destroy this card, special summon a Rocket, each from your hand, deck, graveyard, and banishment, except Barrage. Up to 1 each from those 4 areas. I, once again, do not know if Barrage or if Rockets will be a good archetype, but I think they will. Dragon Link is already a world champion. This is a card that actually incentivizes you to play Rockets. So
Okay.
It's
I did my DDD combo and I fucked it up. Let's go. First game
it
back.
happens. But yeah, like I said, this is another card that I cannot judge. Like, I'm just like, Dragon Link is already good. There is a lot of rocket support coming in the upcoming sets. So the ability to fucking summon 4 rockets is probably good. But, like, I don't know, though, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I hope
genuinely
this
don't
will
know.
only be used in... Honestly, I hope this will only be used in rocket decks.
I will say, while it's locked only for dark monsters, and it does say send a dark dragon, I do kind of think this, along with a couple of the other cards they're putting out for rockets, is actually tending itself to trying to play more of a pure rocket strategy. Previously, rockets kind of became absorbed into Dragon Link, where you just play the best rocket names. Rocket may be getting to the point of other anime decks where there are actually enough members that you can play a pure rocket deck and actually get to all your extra deck plays without necessarily, needing to play all of the generic, whatchamacallit.
Could he eat this man's entire hand through Deus Machina X?
Nice.
It's my only hope.
Also, the chat asked a while ago, the on-resolution effect. That is, if you're talking about the on-resolution, the, like, Synchro or Xyz summon, there's a couple of those that say, after this effect resolves, immediately do that. The negation effect is not new. It's been at least since some Utopia guys that do that, who I think are pretty old. But
God,
it is
I love
not
ones
very
for chain.
common. And
I love ones for chain effects.
yes, once per chain is very funny. But yeah, like there's quite a lot of elements in them that work together with a few of these. But yeah, no, that's our second wave. Like I said, there's probably a third wave because, again, they've got this thing going on where they talk about the whatchamacallits, the 4 heavenly dragons. That's the word I'm looking for, chat. And we've got 3. So, probably we need a fourth heavenly dragon. I don't know.
Yeah, I would assume it would be the Xyz one, Dark Rebellion.
That will be interesting to see because Dark Rebellion was such a, like... Back in the day, Dark Rebellion was a mainstay of rank 4 decks as just, your guy who breaks the enemy board.
I mean, it is very funny. Out of the 2 of the 4 Heavenly Dragons, 2 of them are basically, like what you said, extra deck mainstays. You have Dark Rebellion as your finisher thingy. Okay, yeah, he just surrendered after I absorbed 8 of his things. Okay. Look, read Machinex, guys. Just read the card.
Reading is fundamental, they say.
But anyway, it's just both Starving Venom and Dark Rebellion were just mainstays for years.
Yep.
And then no one ever did Crystal Wing, really.
Well, no, Crystal Wing, the level 8 Crystal Wing was out there because he had a better effect. The original Clear Wing
Crystal
Synchro
Clear
Dragon,
Wing.
Yeah, was
Sorry, that's
was
what I meant.
tougher.
I meant Clear Wing.
Yeah,
I meant Clear
there
Wing,
were
not
some
Crystal.
decks that made
Crystal
him,
is
but
the
it was
one
not
that got
a
played.
generic one.
It's not
Yes,
Clear.
Crystal was played, but it was played in Synchro decks that Synchro climbed very well. Down to even you played like a Wind Witch engine. And Odd Eyes was Odd Eyes, which has been in good decks, but were all very clearly Odd Eyes decks.
Yeah.
So it will be interesting to see, where we're going with these. But let's see. Let me see. Oh, there are some reprints in some of these sets. I will say, because you will not be on forever, Dallas. We're on tap. I want to talk about. I do want to mention Altergeist at some point, and we may pivot to that one with the rest of the session because Loth is going to show up, and I do want to ask him a little about the magician stuff and see. but I might grab Altergeist just for the sake of it, or I might let the episode end early. I've been sick. I could have a short day, chat.
I would ask if you could, just because I really want to talk about Altergeist.
Okay, we can.
though I
I'll wait for Loft to show
I
up
don't
to
mean
get some
selfish
opinions.
of me to ask. It's to ask.
It's fine. It's fine. We're working on it. You know, we try to be accommodating here. We'll chill out for a little bit. We'll do a little podcasty, I guess, and then like I said, I'll let Loth get on and Flash show him some arts and discuss the magician effect with him, because I am curious what he's got to say. But we'll do a shorter episode today. But the other thing I remembered, the reason why I brought this up is, well, I do want to still be on the hook for Altergeist. I forgot that for a while our theme was, after we like did all the dual terminal archetypes, we did deck build packs. Phantom Revenge actually came out. That happened last month, and I know many of you forgot.
Right.
But that means that we should do episodes on Killer Toon, Enneacraft, and Hecka Hands.
Yeah,
Some of which will be more interesting than others.
Archetypes.
So, and honestly, all of them are very interesting. It's been very funny to watch. A lot of people thought Killer Toon was going to be a thing because it does, like, level disruption and stuff. And
I like Killer Toon.
yeah, I like the archetype's interesting. I like the idea of tuners on tuners. I will not be calling it Kuel Toon because that's very dumb.
But you
very
don't
bad.
like Kuel Toon?
No, I don't like Kuel Toon. It's a very bad localization, is why, chat. They should have just called it Killer Toon. There's no reason why they couldn't call them Killer Toon. It's not because I think that it's like, oh no, I can't be saying that. You will see my ass on ladder being like, you fool! I summon Yummy Snatchy, and now I will synchro summon Yummy Cupsy Way. I have a fucking royal rare Yummy Cookie, okay? Like, I'm in.
Nice.
Cupsy is my son, but he's my precious little boy. I don't mind that part. It's just that Kuel Toon is just a generationally bad localization for a game that has been much better about it recently, and is just like, why? So yeah, but the Killer Toon's an interesting concept. I love illusion decks. There are times I feel like Illusion's strongest soldier because I see so many YouTubers go like, man, illusions, what the fuck is up with that? Why can't they be destroyed by battle and shit? And I'm just like, you don't understand the vision.
Cool.
They have an identity, but
No.
also they don't just do that, because sometimes they do illusion stuff that does different things, because
I
that
like the
means you could
server
do
shit.
different things. No, yes.
like the server
I love Chimera. That was another one of my Master Duel decks. I love the generic illusion stuff in Chimera. Like, I'm out here playing Nightmare Magicians and Apprentices anyway. And there's been a lot of other good illusion stuff. I love the illusion inclusion in Azamina. It's a little harder to bridge that into Chimera, but you can play Azamina as its own deck and be really interesting.
Okay, hey, Omega. I may be building Yummy eventually because I'm gonna have to open a shit ton of these packs.
Yeah, you're gonna have to hunt. Well, you know, like I said, it
Yeah,
wasn't
I mean,
too bad.
Because I don't know. For the DDD side, it's pretty bad.
There's a couple of the brand new cards that are good at low rarity. Like, I think Clovis King is like a normal or rare, but yes,
It is,
a
but
lot of the
two of the
headliners
three elves are.
Yeah,
The two of the three elves are the DDD Surveyor and DDD Zoom Deem Queen Machanax are both ultras.
But yes, the design of Hecka Hands is really interesting. I will say this: Hecka Hands is hampered by the fact that, as with a lot of deck build packs, Konami did something unique. Their unique gimmick is stealing your opponent's shit, which, like, that's cool, but also does have a fundamental flaw of, like, okay, well, if your special ability is to look at your opponent's top 5 and, like, steal one of their monsters to turn it into one of your big fusion guys, what if you whiff? What if your opponent's not playing that many monsters? Like, it's not likely, but what happens if you do? So, like, they've gotten some support cards which do it. I will also say, like, Konami's not helping with the fact that, like, they gave them 2 archetypal counter traps. One is monster effect, one is spells and traps, because, ooh, 2 hands. Left hand, right hand. But they're really interesting, and I think that you can play them as part of an illusion fusion strategy, which is pretty neato. And Enneacraft is one of those cards that, like, everybody looked at and went, oh, a pendulum flip archetype, this isn't going anywhere. And now they're getting, like, no, like, number 1 slots, but they're getting regional tops. Like, they're doing stuff, mostly because people refuse to understand what they do. And they just got a bunch of new shit, including one of God's weirdest floodgates. One of their brand new support they just revealed, Dallas, that's coming out in the OCG in the next set, is, I believe it prevents your opponent from... Let me actually double check. It's either from chaining their own effects or chaining to you. I think it's chaining to their own effects. So it prevents your opponent from chain blocking. You're just not allowed to chain block. Let me see if we can find the text. Also, hello, Loth. We're pseudo winding down because Dallas has to go, so we're gonna leave off on Altergeist. But there are some new pendulum cards I want to show you in this pack. This rocket guy is not it, but let me look for the Enneacraft. Ah, yes. Okay, no. So they have a couple of cards. So first of all, one of them says that when your opponent activates a card or effect as Chain Link 3 or higher, change this face-down card to face-up defense position, negate your opponent's activated cards before it in the chain, and if you do, destroy them. So just fuck you, don't chain. And then let's see. Activates an effect that targets, go to defense position, reveal. Yeah, so I think it's it. It's not that they prevent you from... They don't actually floodgate you out of chaining, per se. Oh, no, yes, they do. Okay, so after this card was flipped up, while it's in the monster zone, your opponent can't activate cards in response to the activation of their own cards and effects. So if your opponent makes a high chain, you blow them up and negate everything earlier in the chain, and then after that monster is flipped face up, they cannot chain to their own effects, which prevents chain blocking, which is really interesting. And could be problematic, but also is one of those things that's like, well, buddy, did you need to chain? Oh, this image is so tiny. But I will show, before I grab back that Pendulum Magician again, we do have one, speaking of hero support that probably doesn't do anything. Oh, oops. I accidentally added too many zeros in that. We're getting HERO Flash. Hero Flash. It's a normal spell that does each of the three things. So it's piercing. You can activate one of these effects, but you can only activate one card per turn, which is dumb. It's very stupid. Konami, why did you... this card is bad. But it's you activate one of the H, E, R, or O effects. So you can... if an elemental hero attacks, you can do piercing. Target cards your opponent controls up to the number of elemental heroes you control, destroy them. Take an hero from your graveyard, either add it to your hand or special summon it, or for the rest of this turn, it can attack your opponent directly. So it doesn't even actually replace E-Call, because it's add back or special summon from graveyard. But yeah, it's I will say this. It's activate one of these effects, but you can only activate this card's name once per turn. It's bad. They should have said it. You can activate each effect once per turn. You can't even do all four. It's not searchable, but it's funny. It's funny, chat.
Yeah.
So this one. Let's go to the Overframes. Dallas has departed, so we'll wrap up before 2 gig along. We'll take a little extra time, or take a little less time this week, chat. But this is the one that I really wanted to show a lot. This is Horoscope Sorcerer, the Stargazer Magician.
Huh. Okay.
And this is a card that Dallas and I read and was like, it was probably good, but I genuinely don't know what Magician is doing these days. So I figured we'd get it straight from the horse's mouth. A level 5 Pendulum Scale 1 Dark Spellcaster, 24 Pendulum Effect. When your opponent's activated spell card or effect resolves, if you control a Magician, Pendulum monster, or an Odd Eyes monster, negate that effect, then destroy this card. So negate on resolution.
And destroy. Okay.
And destroy itself. Blows itself up. That's its pendulum scale effect. Monster effect. You can only use each of the effects, the 1, 2, and 3 effects once per turn. Effect number 1. Discard one other Magician Pendulum monster, Performer Pal monster, or Odd Eyes monster. Special summon this card from your hand. So discard any guy, summon him. If this card's special summon, add a Pendulum monster with 2,500 attack from your deck to your hand.
Yeah, get Odd Eyes, or maybe Supreme Gate Magician.
There's a couple of different guys. And lastly, you can target one Pendulum monster card you control, destroy it, then add one face-up Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. AKA Trigger Astrograph.
Yeah. Oh yeah, special summon, add Astrograph. Yeah, no, it is just Astrograph Turbo.
It seems like it's got some utility. Like I said, I don't know what the ratios are in a modern Pen Magician deck, but this seems good.
Space already in a Magician deck is usually pretty premium because there's a lot of cards a lot of cards to use. All the names. This is only me saying this because I'm not good at deck building still.
Yeah, that is, I guess, the thing. I don't know if this, like, cuts the number of names down, you know? Chatters. I don't know if you can play fewer cards.
He'd probably be a 1 or 2 of, but it's just Astrograph Turbo.
Which is decent. That card was on the ban list for a while. And you can use it in other stuff. If you already have Astrograph in your hand, you can use it to search the new Odd Eyes, which I recall a couple of weeks ago was pretty good. You know, and there's a few other cards. Honestly, its Pendulum effect is also pretty good because it is a 1 scale, and then it's a, you know, once per turn negate on resolution. So it got some good stuff. So I will leave you and Loth off, chat, with asking you to do some sort of fucked up math.
Oh, fuck off.
So, in the case of Yu-Gi-Oh! Doing other games inside of games, last week we talked about how they made a new card which just does the Monty Hall problem. You just play 3-card Monty. Now we have this card, Moving Point Pendulum. This is a continuous trap card. It says, once per turn, during the standby phase, place 1 T counter on this card. Once per turn, you can target one Pendulum monster in your main monster zone. Move that Pendulum monster to an adjacent main monster zone a number of times equal to the T counters on this card. Then, if there is any opponent's fusion or exceeds monsters with a level or rank equal to or lower than the targeted monster's Pendulum scale in its column, destroy as many of those as possible. If you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the total attack they had on the field. So basically, this is a continuous trap that if you have enough counters to move them, it turns your pendulums into that one train card, Gold Scraper, I think. Or Yajiro Vader, basically. So I have absolutely no idea if this card is good, but it looks like the kind of card that you flip up and start putting counters on your opponent and they just die inside. Could be useful, I would say, because of the way Pendulum monsters work. Could be useful to move Pendulum monsters outside of zones your Link monsters point to free up those zones. But I do not know what exactly they be doing. But yeah, it's a weird one. If you're wondering, chat, we won't be talking about the new Clown Clan cards, because that's just like a brand new archetype they showed off, but they do have a clown whose name is Whiteface. I'm absolutely certain that'll be changed. But it's very funny. But to kind of give us a little leave off, and I don't know exactly when you joined Loth, so I don't know if you heard. But I mentioned earlier that in addition to wanting to do Altergeist, which is why we're gonna wrap up rather than move on with it without Dallas, because he also wants to talk about Altergeist. But there was a deck build pack that came out last month. It actually came out. It was delayed a little, but it did come out. And that means that we're going to talk about them, because I forgot about that. It's a thing we do. So at some point in the future soon, we will be talking about Killer Tune, which is pictured here, by the way. This is Killer Tune Q. By the way, in the concept art, they call out what her music genre is. He says her music genre is futurecore, pop kawaii EDM. It's like future-based shit, and it's very funny for the Konami designers to think of that stuff. But J Future Core and Kawaii Future Bass is like a thing. So very, very funny that they actually thought about that. But we'll be talking about those guys, and then the other one is Enneacraft and Hecka Hands. So we'll probably do Altergeist next week. Let me check the calendar, Chad. Let me buy a little bit of time. Let me try and milk a little bit more ad revenue. As always, I appreciate the support of your watching ads, supporting us on the Patreon, super chats and super thanks and shit. Yeah, we got like 2 more this month, so we'll definitely probably do Altergeist next time if we can. And oh, that's very funny. Next week is Penguin Awareness Day. Apparently, according to my computer. But then we got the 27th. We'll probably start on one of these. And then the 3rd will be whichever one wins our Patreon poll. You can support us on Patreon. Links below at the 5 and up level to vote in the Fail Portrayal poll for... the poll is taking place this month. The poll will be resolved at the start of next month. So for your benefits, you got a whole month of your voting window. So check that out. Actually, I was about to transition to blowing up Master Duel again. I will say, Loth, you may also have to boot up Master Duel because they're running the Legend Anthology event currently. The special reward is Supreme King Infinity Gate Field Piece.
God, no.
You only need remember it's like 500 medals per win. You only need like 4,000, I think. So you need to win like 10 times maybe.
I thought I was free.
No, they're the Supreme King thing. Luckily, they do loner decks, so. But yes, so, keep your eyes and ears peeled for stuff. If you're a big fan of illusions, like I said, we'll be talking about Hecka Hands eventually. I'm sure I have a lot of fun things to say about that, because like I said, I like what they're doing with illusions. I'm a big illusions guy. But while this stream is shorter, we are going to get on out of here. Like I said, I do appreciate your support, and it's not just because I have to, continue to buy groceries and stuff, which your support of the channel directly brings in. But also it does. You put food in my mouth, chat. So thank you for watching. Sorry about this one being shorter, but like I said, it's just a timing thing. I just wanted to do the Overframe stuff. And I think it was a good pick because we were a little slim on people and points, but we'll get back into it. Keep your eyes peeled for more, and keep your eyes peeled tomorrow. We'll be back in Final Fantasy XIV. I am feeling better. I'm no longer feeling like properly sick, so we should be back on schedule tomorrow for 14. Where we can do more raids and maybe do more treasures and maybe do some other stuff. Maybe we will run the Mistwake dungeon 9 million times. I'll have to ask Ark if he got the aiming top yet.
Oh god,
it's been like a month. But we're gonna get on out of here. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and stuff. And we'll see you next time. Bye bye.